Black morning, black morning, black morning. Black morning to the family. Oh yeah, we got that we got that Native Black American descent on these on some farms out here. It ain't government just yet that I know of, but a dentist is a private practice sometimes the government can do it, but we got Native Black American descent on private practice farms today. These guys, you dig? That's what matters to me. So man, we are winning. They're mad as hell. And then CAMRON double downing on he ain't on what he is and what he ain't. I'm sure that gotta hurt. I'm gonna play a little bit of his words going back and forth, and then I'm gonna let Tariq Nasheed play the that light skinned tether, whatever the hell he is, that Latino guy. I was gonna do a live on him. I seen it last week, but I decided not to because I was like on what I'm on. So I'm gonna let Tariq go ahead and do that one, and I'm gonna just do a reaction of his video. I ain't gonna try to rush and do it. I ain't gonna try to rush and do it before him. I take my time. We got time. This gonna make for a good live reaction. Yeah, but they are mad as hell, man. It's an L. Oh, they try to act like birthright citizenship was an L for us. Like, no, it wasn't. That 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 was Trump's argument, and we thought it was the right one. Now the points they made in court was trash. That's why Clarence Thomas came behind him like, nah, you're supposed to go with this. You're supposed to argue that they already had cases of people born here in this country and they were denied citizenship for the same reason why some are getting it today. You know, the Trump administration pointed some goofies who couldn't close the deal. So they ain't on Black Americans. That's on Trump and his team, MAGA. That's not native. That's not the natives. I gotta give me a native shirt. Damn, gotta give me a native shirt. Also, I just talked about welfare yesterday. Now, I was saying like a lot of us borrow arguments from the Pan-Africans and the white liberal conservative. I'm sorry, the white liberals and also white conservatives, Republican conservatives. Like we don't know. Like we had thoughts and we had no idea how our thoughts were influenced. So that don't mean you can't say a talking point to somebody and not be down with the whole program. That happens a lot too. But certain talking points that people be ten toes on, it's like, yo, you got that from the Pan Africans, or you got that from uh, the Republican conservatives. No, you ain't just come with that. That was because it's like it's a bad faith argument. And I was just saying yesterday, anybody who argues that welfare is bad for black people, well, will have to take the position that it's only bad for black folks. It's good for everybody else because everybody else is leveling up on welfare, except so I. That's why I asked you, hey man, pull up. I do my keys. Oh, my pocket. I'm one of those weirdos that can never know where I put my car keys, man. And while I'm in the house, I got a spot to put them. But I'm saying like when I'm driving, oh my God, I put them everywhere. Pocket. Once I left in the car, lock myself in the car, lock myself out the car. I'll be on some real goofy. Okay, with the keys, man. I be talking, I put them down without thinking, and then when I'm thinking, I don't know where I put them down when I wasn't thinking. Okay, so I'm gonna go. Yeah, yes. Anyway, a lot of people to say welfare is bad for black people. You literally stole that argument from the people who you say are against us. Welfare is no good for black Americans, but it's good for every other person that's in America. Like, yeah, I don't make any sense, but I know. None of y'all don't do research. You just say shit that sounds cool because Candace Owens said it or this conservative said it, so it just sounded cool. You know what I mean? This Pan African said it, so it sounded cool, and you ran with it, and now you're 10 toes. I'm like, yo, just invite yourself up. Let's talk about it. If you really believe and that you got the truth, and this is the problem, a lot of people they believe this. It's like, well, this should be a cakewalk. I'm sure you got the numbers because you're 10 toes on this, so I know you know what you're talking about. So you're like, yo, pull up on the live, man. Let's hear how welfare is only bad for black people and everybody else is good because you couldn't say it's bad for other people because it's like, well, why? Well, then the target ain't just on black American backs; it's on everybody back. So you would have to make the argument that is designed to destroy the black family. So that means it got to be exclusive, right? It can't be inclusive because then it's not just for black people; it's for everybody. But some of y'all know how dumb that argument sounds. That's why y'all know better not to pop up. But man. Anyway, so as I was gonna go live today, interesting enough, I seen the Saint arguing Mike. Now I seen him do debate beef, on stuff, but I didn't know the debate was on Snap. So I was like, damn, man, look at this alley, look at this gift, look at this Christmas gift, look at this moment that's in my hands. Like, so he debated my son on Snap if it's good for the blacks. And again, blacks is everybody, immigrants. Okay. So anyway, I'm like, he debated this. I said, okay. So I know Marquette took the conservative approach. So I'm like, yeah, it's no way he won this. I listened to a couple points and it sound ridiculous. And this is coming from a master communicator. He calls himself a master communicator, a debater who everybody's afraid of. Dude, your debate shouldn't be this easy to pick apart. Okay. So we're gonna get into everything. We're gonna get into CAMRON standing on 10 on the lineage. He's Native Black American, that he's of Native Black American descent. He's not one of these guys trying to find some fake roots to Ghana. Okay, yeah, he ain't trying to trace some roots back to Ghana by some entertainment only tests. Okay. Mm-mm. That's not what Cameron is on. People mad. So Humpty Dumpty, oh no, Quasimodo. Quasimodo, because it ain't Kwame. Kwame Modo come out of nowhere with goof remedial arguments. Yo, we have become the standard of greatness. People gotta downplay us to people feel that they gotta downplay us to uplift themselves or to feel good about themselves. They believe that they don't believe both can happen. They don't believe they can feel good about themselves and we can feel good about ourselves. They believe if we feel good about ourselves, they gotta feel bad about themselves. Because I don't know. It's a lot of reasons out there. I think they feel like that. But let me get the TikTokers or TikTokers be lit in the morning. I got about a little under 2 hours. Then we got to play some ball. You dig? I found my jump shot in the gym last Friday. Not the one just passed. 2 Fridays ago. I finally found it after all these years. I went to go ball Sunday. I don't know where that thing went. So I want to get to the park a little earlier today before the guys come so I can get that jump shot going. Mm. Now I want to do this. I want to create a nice little thumbnail. All right, so I'm on TikTok. We on YouTube. I'm gonna put a link in the chat. Don't worry. Don't go nowhere. Whoever's think Snap and welfare and Snap ain't welfare ain't Snap ain't welfare. You can get Snap. I debated a friend who ain't want to act like we're debating, but again, like people don't know about these things, but they want to debate them versus people like me. Um, he thought Snap was welfare. I said, bro, you can get Snap without being on welfare. He was like, no, 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 Snap is welfare. I said, bro, listen, man, stop it. I said, bro, you can get Snap without welfare. It ain't the same. It ain't welfare. Oh, it's welfare. And then we looked it up, or I had him look it up. I said, look it up. He looked it up. He see it wasn't welfare. So I'm like, yo, can you make that as a L? Because he a close friend that don't take no L's. Like he will never say he's wrong. He'll make up, oh nah, I was high, so that don't count, or nah. So like he'll be clearly wrong, but then when it's clear he's wrong, he'll make up a reason why that should not count because somehow he was high, drunk, he read it wrong, whatever. Like, dude, that's your problem, my guy. This was an L. Okay, it'd be like a friendly L. It ain't like reputational damage and that stuff. Okay. Let me get this. Let me get a good picture of him. This no, this look like so we're gonna first talk about CAMRON. And he's 10 toes on like the rest of us. He's 10 toes that he's not African. Okay. He's 10 toes on. I'm not African. I'm American. Okay. Damn. I can't get a good I can't get a good picture. Can't what's up with your pictures, bro? I can't get a good picture of Cam. All right. So now notice that yeah, we're not African. Well, some of us ain't African. Some of y'all are African, right? And the ones who are African, that's cool, nothing wrong with that. Some folks are African, some folks are European, some folks are Asian or Indian, whatever, Chinese, and that's your reality. But do not force your reality on my reality. I ain't African. I see what CAMRON says. I ain't African. Um, uh, Dashiki. Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. So let's go right to the camera thing. Because Tariq she had did something on the Cameron thing. So let's go straight there. I was on live that long yesterday. Sheesh. I guess when they say you're having fun, you ain't working. Okay. I didn't know I was on live that long. Oh, Tariq. Yeah, they mad, yeah. They mad that Native Black American descent is on some apps. And I believe it's about to go viral. I believe I believe that's gonna catch on. I believe other businesses, private, and then I think public's gonna be the last one to do it. Public, because public businesses are ran by the government. The government's gonna be last. They the slow people. Even with the pandemic, right? When businesses was open up, the last businesses to open up fully were government. So you can almost guarantee that government's gonna be the last to catch on to putting Native Black American on their forms. But you're gonna see a lot of businesses, a lot of private corporations to satisfy Native Black Americans, they're gonna put a Native Black American on that form as an option outside of race. Because I read off a news article that was disturbing. It was a man who was melanated who handed 35-year-old man from Michigan who handed his 1-year-old baby girl to complete strangers so he can go party for like an hour or two. He gets done partying, he come back to those strangers he don't know, and he gets his 1-year-old baby girl from them. He's clearly drunk, they say, wobbly, talking reckless. He hops on a motorcycle, not a car. He's drunk on a motorcycle with a 1-year-old baby. He drives off high speed. He crashes. The 1-year-old baby is injured, but okay. But he flees because he's worried about his own deportation status, his immigration status. He flees and leave the 1-year-old baby on the scene. Now he's melanated. Is no way in hell we're gonna let people tell us that man is black like me. Where he goes to that action, that ain't Native Black American actions at all. But he's able to do that degenerative, primitive, monkey-like behavior, chimping out like that, and then somehow that's attached to Black Americans. So Kwame, Quasimoto will gaslight us, calling Tariq Nasheed and say, "Hey man, look at the black stats as though black is not a race." Like yo, Remedial Kwame, you do know the black stat includes you too, right? You immigrants with your degenerative behavior. You know it includes you, right? All right, the gas is finally dropping a little bit. I think. Is it? Black morning to the family. It's like, yo, Remedial Kwame, you do know that black stat is about a race classification. That's everybody who's an immigrant plus Native Black Americans. So your degenerate behavior, your selling drugs, all the weird stuff y'all do, that's thrown into the black stat, the black race stat that weakens what we got going on. Y'all not being employed, y'all staying with government assistance, all that stuff y'all doing. Incarceration rates, that's because we're the face of black, but everybody's in the black stat. So no, 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 no. You don't get to talk about immigrants and say, look what immigrants doing and look at what blacks are doing. No, blacks, remember, black is a racial group that classifies immigrants too. So you guys are in the immigrant group and you're in the black group as well. All right. We ain't gonna do that. We ain't gonna do that. I know what you did last summer. That don't work over here. That will not. I know better. That don't work over here, my guy. You won't gaslight me. You got Tariq. Well, he still beat you up, but with that point you made, he didn't rebut it. I do because I know how these classifications work, and I already got them. Remedial Kwame called in over here with that, and I was laughing. I was like, yo, go ahead, finish. I said, chat, watch what I do to him. So when he got done with the black stats and immigrant, look, see, we're better off. I said, bro, are immigrants included in the black stat? Huh? Remedial Kwame. I said, are immigrants included in the black stat? Yo, he didn't want to answer. Man, get the hell off my damn live. You dig? The hell off my live. Y'all are included in the black stat as well. You dig? So that's why we're asking for disaggregated stats, and we're getting it. I went to the dentist. That thing said black race, and that thing said, I think it said ethnicity. And at first, it said African descent at the way top. And at the bottom, that thing said Native Black American descent. So all of y'all that says pretendians, all these little corny pseudo jokes, well, we're on real forums as Native Black American descent. So you shipping out people can click African descent while we click Native Black American descent. All right. And Native Black American, that wording is better than FBA because FBA tells you what you did. Natives tell you who you are and what you did. Because if you're a Native Black American, then surely you built the foundation. So being Native covers foundational as well because we were Native first and then foundational. We were not foundational first and then Native. The Native, the nativity came first, right? Don't forget that. Y'all mad. Y'all mad that we're native to this country and we not buying to the whole we just an African. Because I always ask people when they say I'm an African, I always ask them, what the hell is an African? You're saying I'm something, I got it, but I need more clarity. What is an African? So you're saying I'm something, but you can't even define it. Maybe I will agree, maybe I won't, but tell me what it is. See, I don't give remedial people the benefit of doubt that they know what they're saying. I don't do that. You dig? I'm from the show me lineage. You got to show me, you know what you're talking about. You say you're black, how? You see I'm African, what's an African? You feel me? You said it, you proved it. You said it, you proved it. You dig? That is not on me. That burden of proof is not on me. What is an African? Let me understand what it is. What's your definition? And how are you black? Those should be easy questions for people who have foreign origins and they say they black, right? So when I ask you how are you black and you have foreign origins leading to the island, Haiti, or Africa, that should be an easy question for you. Okay. And if you're black, then why do you have to use marked terms in your own homeland? Okay. And we're going to go over marked terms in a second. Just want to get this CAMRON thumbnail right. Feel me? If you got foreign um, roots and you're in America, somebody from your family had immigrated here. You're calling us black. I mean, you're calling us African. I want to know what the hell is African. And I do want to know how are you black? Two questions. You call me an African. What is that? And you're calling yourself black. Why aren't you African? And also think about this. Um, third, between 13 to 15 million people were sold by Africans to the Europeans, preferably or specifically the Portuguese, right? So we know about 80% to 90% of those people that was bought were pretty much bought by the Portuguese, right? This is why the term Negro was put upon people. It was the Portuguese going around everywhere calling people of melanin skin, dark melanin skin, Negro, not black, because they didn't speak English. They spoke Spanish. So they or Portuguese. So they went around, that's like a form of Spanish. They went around calling everybody negro. So when the UK, the British, the Britons, the Brits, when they went to go purchase a small percentage of these sold people, these hyper selected, brilliant people, they want to know who are we buying? Who are they? And the Portuguese said negros. You can buy these negros. You can have up to 384,000. But the rest of them gonna stay over here though. Okay. So 384,000 came to the UK, right? Well, not UK. They was bought by the UK, but they came to America, which is known as America, and they worked here. They labored here. The innovations here, patents here, inventions here, brainstorming here, helping this country be great, fought here. And as a result, this is the superpower of the world. Only 384,000 of those who were sold came to America, and America is the superpower of the world. But didn't the bulk of them go to Brazil? Aren't we just all the same? So how come Brazil ain't a superpower of the world? Why is no comparison? Y'all ever thought about that? If we're all the same, it's just different landing spots for the ships. Then why is Brazil no and the Brazilians, the Africans over there? Y'all don't call Africans, by the way. Why don't the Pan Africans go to Brazil to get some allies, allyship? Go to Brazil. That's where they all went. Nobody ever includes Brazil when it comes to Pan Africanism or speaking about Africans in the diaspora. Nobody talks about Brazil. That's where everybody went. And why ain't Brazil great? Why ain't Brazil great? That's a real question, man. All right. Color. Everybody's black but us, and no, and we're the only ones African. You let these guys tell it. We're the only Africans. Ain't nobody black. We're not black. Everybody black but us. Off T, I'm trying to get you on, but like your connection is janky, my guy. Definitely trying to get you on. I'm gonna start this show in a second. I got the thumbnail. I got the CAMRON thumbnail. All right. Yeah, come. Yeah, invite yourself back up, off T. Yeah, I got the CAMRON thumbnail. Yeah, thumbnails, man. Do not downplay thumbnails. Thumbnails will get some attention. Like people see those thumbnails, they click. So as you know, normally I don't have a thumbnail. I'm like a mobile streamer, except on weekends. Weekends I can settle down if I choose. Yeah, but why nobody include Brazil when they do their Pan African rhetoric? Marcus Garvey. You want to go to Brazil, Marcus Garvey? Africa is is for the Africans. Well, damn. Okay. Well, go save those. Go find those Africans that's in Brazil. 80 to 90% of the people's soul went to Brazil. Yeah, and that's why we know they're full of crap. Okay, I always ask them like, "Yo, man, are Cubans African?" Oh, I ain't talking about them. Yeah, I bet you ain't. I bet you ain't talking about Cubans because according to y'all logic, everybody African. When I asked and family, that's why they won't define what an African is. Oh, FBAs are African. Native Black Americans are African. Okay, all right. What is your definition of African? Because family, they know the definition they give is going to indict all of Brazil, all of Cuba, damn near a large majority of Cuba. It's going to indict a lot of Puerto Ricans, a lot of Dominicans, and a lot of people across the world, basically that they never call Africans. You know, these Hispanic countries. It's like, well, aren't they African? So why don't you go around saying Cubans? You're not Cuban. You're African. And yeah, we know it's gaslighting. And that's why they won't define. They can't and they won't define what an African is, because watch how broad this definition extends. Watch how many people be included all of a sudden. Like, well, you got a lot of Africans in Brazil, huh? We had about 50, like 85% of the people who were sold by Africans to the Portuguese people. They landed in Brazil, and Brazil's called the sold negros. Okay, they didn't speak English, so the letters BLACK did not come out their mouth. Okay. Oh nah, but negro mean that ain't how linguistics work, my guy. That is not how linguistics work. Okay. The way linguistics work, it's about how the word is applied, context. When you're trying to uh dehumanize somebody with words, right? Yeah, now it's context. Because an ugly word, you can say, oh, she bad. Well, bad in the 50s and 60s meant she got terrible characteristics as a human being. Okay. But bad in the 80s and 90s mean, she fly. Like, damn, she's attractive. You dig? So context defines the word. So when these Portuguese people was going around the world calling everybody negro, they meant um savage, inferior, worthy of slavery, all that type of stuff. I remember I got remedial Kwame on this one really good on the negro thing about the indigenous people in this country. Oh my God, it was a classic. And he seen where I was going, but it was like too late because he already answered the question. It was just so funny. Yeah, I got so many highlight clips cooking revenue, Kwame. It's ridiculous. All right. All right. So I got the thumbnail up. All right. Now let me go into the video. Let me go into the video. I got about an hour left. Let's try to cover this. I had the filler buster until I got the video. Cause you know when you eat those thumbnails, you get a thumbnail. Thumbnails mean everything. Social media, well on YouTube. Okay. Here we are. All right. So now CAMRON. Let's get into what CAMRON said and why he said it. CAMRON. Yeah, this guy right here, this Vic Mensa guy. I already know he's like Latino or whatever. But I was gonna cook him earlier this week, man. So I'm gonna wait for Tariq cook him, then I'm gonna come behind and cook him. All right, let's go here. Wait, let me take my headphones off so the TikTokers can hear it.
I'm not African. I love my Africans. Salute. They don't fuck with us like that. They say we Yankees. Yeah, ain't no fucking Africans. I'm just telling you how it go. Why when we go to the Olympics, you know, Floyd pointed, why when we go to the Olympics and a black man go to the Olympics, they be like, the American.
So why is the African there already? It's in the name already. African American.
No, they don't say that at the Olympics. They say American. They don't say African American because it's Africans there at the Olympics. So they don't confuse it and say African American. They just say American. That's what I'm saying. If we African American, why we don't use that at the Olympics?
What's wrong with being African?
Ain't nothing wrong with.
All right, so when he get cooked, now is what's wrong with being African? Now, some of us who older enough, some of us who are old enough, some of us who stop eating pork early, people would ask us why you stop eating pork, and we would give off the facts. that we had at that time that we believe were facts. And then when it's making too much sense to the person who asked that bad faith question, right? These spiritual revenues, their next question would be, what's wrong with pork? it's like, it's like, it's a, yeah, I get it.
Being African, it's just that I'm not African. I was born in America.
So your bloodline.
Now your bloodline. You mean your blood? You mean your genealogy, my guy? But Cameron's doing the best he can, but he's not the most informed on these talking points. That's why like people like Cameron need to stay tuned into the grassroots, like myself, to learn how to articulate that, because he has a powerful voice in these spaces. So, and like, I'm so glad that he's so bold to say this, so publicly and forwardly and non-apologetically. I love that. But if he's able to articulate it a little better, it'll hit harder. Because he said he's not African because he's born here. If I was the guy with the other guy, I'd have been like, all right, so when Africans are born in America, are they American? You know what I mean? It's like he could have got Cameron like that. But it's important to understand the talking points. So when people pull up to hear me talk on TikTok or YouTube, and y'all hear me saying things that's great for the lineage, and I do reiterate it often, it's for you guys to learn it and where you can repeat it. I don't like when people listen to me and I'm giving off all these facts and people just see it as entertainment. So when they do call in, invite themselves up on TikTok, we talk about it, they don't know it. I remember I asked one so-called FBA on YouTube, like, bro, what does it mean to delineate? When we say we're delineating, what does that mean? This dude claiming to be FBA had no clue. I'm like, so what? Why are you on platforms, my guy? Like, you more of a disservice because your stupidity, tethers and white supremacists are going to use you to show how we don't know what we're talking about. So I'm like, yo, stay off platforms. I mean, talk about something else. Stop talking about FBA talking points. Because now you're a tether. You a spiritual tether. If you're actually FBA, you are a spiritual tether. Because now you're undermining us. Now you're misrepresenting our talking points. You out here on social media platforms, loud and wrong, and you're trying to rep FBA talking points. Well, yeah, I call them spiritual tethers. Like, yo, get out the way, man. You're an op just like anybody else. Either rep our talking points correctly or sit down and be quiet. And get pens and paper and write down what I say. Learn it. Recite it in the mirror. And then go out there.
Are you black?
Yeah, I'm black.
Black what? You just black.
I'm a black man.
So Cameron said, I'm just a black man. We're going to talk about that. So he said, are you black? Black what? As though we originally needed a marked term. A marked term. You're going to learn about that a little later. So Cameron like, yeah, I'm just black. I'm a black man. He don't know that for Native Black Americans, when we say we're black, we don't need a marked term. Black in itself is an unmarked term for Native Black Americans. But when you influx a lot of immigrants over here who are melanated from Africa and the Caribbean, Brazil, Haiti, and they start saying they're black racially, it muddies the waters. And now all of a sudden, the people who never needed a marked term, now we need a marked term. So now we got to tell you what type of black we are to distinguish ourselves from the other people who are saying they're black racially. So we'll say, hey, man, we are Native Black American. Okay, is that better?
What? Black man? What are you talking about? I'm black. It's all over the world. Does that mean they African? It's black. It's black Cubans. It's everywhere. That don't mean that they African because you black. Black don't mean African.
No, I didn't mean to say that, but we're from Africa, bro. It's the heart of a black man. That's where we from. That's the land.
So you see, Cameron just said everybody black and African. He agrees with that, but then he says Africa is the heart of the black man. Then you don't agree. Then you're saying everybody who is black is African is the heart. Yeah, people just be talking and have no idea what they're saying. And then when you invite yourself up on TikTok or YouTube, you click the link, you get cooked by me because I listen and I'm witty and I respond fast. I know what you're saying, and sometimes it don't make any sense.
Not a black man.
I'm not African. If you want to be African, that's on you.
All right.
CAMRON said, your CAMRON closed out with saying, I'm not African. If you want to be African, that's on you. That's on you. And that's I am. I tell people who claim to be FBA, hey man, I'm African. I'm like, bro, kudos. I'm not going to become a tether or white tea supremacist and tell you who you are. Bro, you got the right to identify here. You got people saying they're not men, they're women, they're not women, they're men, and they're a goat and all type of stuff. Man, go do you. Go, whatever makes you feel good, my man. Go do that. Go say that. Go believe that. Okay, go believe you're an African. You can't define what an African is, but go believe you're that. Okay? I'm not gonna argue with nobody who say that they're not a man, they're a woman, they're not a woman, they're a man, and they're not black, they're African. I'm not debating none of y'all on that. I'm not gonna be a default colonizer. Y'all guys got the right to self-identify. I won't be in your way. I ain't gonna support you, but I won't be in your way. Identify as you may. I identify as a native black American, right? I went to the dentist and I clicked black as a race, and the next option was being more specific. It was disaggregating, and it asked me, was I African descent? At the very bottom, it said, or are you a native black American, or are you of native black American descent? So I crossed out the African descent and checked the box native black American descent. Now the guy with the hat who's giving CAMRON this fake pushback, my guy, on that form, what are you checking? Are you checking African descent, or are you checking native black American descent? So yesterday I did a live. So for you guys don't know, I went to the dentist, and on the form, it disaggregated. It had African descent at the first option. At the last option, it said native black American descent. If you want to see that form, you got to go to my YouTube. The YouTube is easy to remember. It's black spelled an X, not a CKS. So it's BLAX, news and facts. Go there, and the thumbnail for the video yesterday is the form. Okay, I took a picture of that, like, ho. Dentist offices are delineating? They're disaggregating? Yeah, that thing said African descent as the first choice, and the last choice, that thing said native black American descent. So I want to ask these people who claim they're from our lineage, these Pan-Africans, these goofies, on that form, what are you checking? Okay? Because go ahead and write yourself out of tangibles. Go ahead and write yourself out of reparation money if that was to ever come. Go ahead and check African descent, because that's immigrants. The African descent, that box was for immigrants or immigrant origins. That native black American descent box, that was for non-immigrants. You dig? That was for native people of this country who are foundational. So I want to know, what box are you checking, liar? Because I know you're not checking African descent, because you know to be eligible for tangibles that are exclusively for native black Americans, the lineage, you got to identify as a native black American. You dig? You don't identify as us, and you checking that African descent, dude, you are X'd out. Hence why I spell blacks with X. We Xing out people. Make it easier for us to track delineation. Y'all go ahead and be African, but just stand on that when tangibles and laws and things start to like take fruition for the people who are foundational to this country. You dig? Yeah, go be African.
And shout out to my Africans. I'm not African. My mother from Atlantic City.
FBA Live, what's up, beloved?
All right, so there you go, man. So So I'm with CAMRON. Y'all go be what y'all want to be. Y'all go be what y'all want to be. You dig? You African, go be African. Go cosplay as an African. If you are an African, then go cosplay as an African. I'm standing on FBA business, you dig? All right.
Peace to the Saints. We have a conversation here with a South African, and I'll let him introduce himself and also provide the basis of his initial argument. I yield the floor to you.
Thank you, Mark. Can I call you Mark?
Marquette.
Okay, understood. Thank you, Marquette. My name is
Hold on 1 second there, my friend. The name is Marquette. Marquette. You see, I didn't mispronounce my own name. It's Marquette. You want to try that out one time?
Marquette.
There you go. Thank you.
I'm sorry, it's a bit of a tongue twister.
You don't have to be sorry. It's not a tongue twister. You have a native language, right?
Yes.
Yes. You also have been colonized into speaking English, so you're pretty good with language by now.
Doesn't make it less of a tongue twister, sir. But let's not get bogged down on that. I'll respect it. Marquette.
There you go. Very simple.
Yeah, I'll get used to it. My name is Kekeletso Malekane. I am from South Africa, in Gauteng, province of Gauteng, Johannesburg, and the southern western townships of Johannesburg, which is more commonly or affectionately known as Soweto. I'm sure you've known or heard about Soweto.
I've been to Soweto.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So when was this?
About 4 years ago.
4 years ago, 2022, just after the lockdown. Okay.
Yes. I've been to South Africa maybe 18 times, between typically Durban, Cape Town, Joburg, or Josie if you like.
Josie. Yeah,
I yield the
Josie
floor
works.
for you to make your argument.
Okay. We'll just let the video that I commented on, let that be the point of departure. I mean, the premise of my argument.
Hey, so he made it clear. He said, hey, the South African guy made it clear. He said, hey, man, let's focus on the reason why I'm here. He's saying he commented on the video. So he wants to debate the video that he commented on, because a lot of times people come to Marquette, the master communicator, to debate something that they argued or expressed opposition on. He'll invite them more and talk about everything but that. So now he made it very clear, hey, I came on here to talk about the comment I made and what I disagree with, what you stand for, what you said. Let's see if he gets a chance to debate that, because a lot of times it goes left for no reason. Let's see.
Argument was that the video itself in isolation is pretty bad, and you cannot really excuse the actions of the people in that video. But to then again take those individuals.
And anybody can invite themselves up if you believe that Africans are black, if you believe West Indians, Haitians, Brazilians are black, you want to invite yourself up and explain how. That's all. I have a question, and I got some pushback depending on your reasons how, right? Depending on your reasons how, I might have some follow-up questions, some cross-examination questions, whatever. But if you believe Africans, all 54 countries, are black, or anybody from Africa is black, if you believe Haitians, if you believe West Indians are black, you might be right. I just want to know how you believe that. If you give some certain proofs and argument, I might not have much pushback for you. But if you give other points and reasons, you might get all the smoke. Okay, so that's my thing. Are Africans black? That's the question. And then is how and why. All right. So if y'all believe Africans are black, invite yourself up, explain how and why and how, whatever.
Individuals in that video, and then use their actions to paint all Black South Africans in that same paintbrush or in that.
Okay, so now it was the South African first. The South African first identified South Africans as black. Okay, now Marquette is known to do that. Marquette is a Pan-African with an agenda. He calls South Africans black every chance he gets. According to Marquette, South Africans aren't even African. He called them black so often, bro. Just call them South Blackians. So now the African guy is now using the terminology Black South Africans, and I want to know why. Why are people attaching black to Haitian, black to Jamaican, black to South African, black to Brazilian, Cuban? Why now is a black attached to all these identities today? And since Donald Trump's inauguration, why did y'all decide to attach black onto these people and to themselves from 2024 on? Why? Where was this emphasis? Where was this modifier? Where was this marked term before Donald Trump's inauguration? Like you today in 2026, you can't find a Haitian, West Indian, Brazilian, Cuban, African who would just say they're Cuban African, Nigerian, Jamaican, Haitian, Brazilian. You can't. They're all just gonna say they're black. It's like, so y'all all just black now? And by you saying you're black, that don't tell me much about you. That don't tell me your culture, what language you speak, what country you're from. When you use black as a flat term, we're gonna automatically assume you are Native Black American. Because we are the only people that should be allowed to use black without a marked term. But now everybody's doing it now. So sometimes they'll say black South Africans, and sometimes they'll just say black. Then you got black Brits. What the hell is a black Brit? We'll cover that too. What's it? Now you a black Brit? I mean, you straight from Nigeria. You're Nigerian, right? Aren't you Nigerian? Aren't you from a house or tribe, whatever? But now you're just a black Brit. Like, yo, what's up, yo? Everybody just wanted, again, this is the internet. People are able to be who they want to be. You become black all of a sudden overnight. You become rich overnight. You're a thug, you're a fighter, you're popular, you buzzing. Everybody just who they want to be on the internet. Now, everybody's black. Every content creator is rich. They all can fight. You know, they gonna threaten you and pull up and all types of stuff. Everybody is just a top G. On the internet, everybody is the top G. But the top G got to fight for the top bunk. You dig? When reality sets in, the top G's got to decide top bunk or bottom bunk. The lies, the finesse, the scams, they're going to catch up.
Same light or in that same mode of operation in terms of maybe seeking social justice within their neighborhoods, in the economic aspect of everything that I believe is the problem there, is a little problematic for me, because you
Do you mind
called
if I
us
clarify for people
South
what the video was?
I might lose my train of thought, so I just want to
Okay,
finish
yeah,
this
sure.
little
Carry
point
on.
and
No
then
problem.
we can jump in.
Yes.
Yeah. It was quite problematic for me because I understood where your frustration comes from, but to then call all Black South Africans the most despicable.
So again, he's saying black South Africans. Bro, listen, man. When you're talking to Native Black Americans, if you guys say the word African to us, we automatically think of you. We don't think of white people. We don't think of Arabs. We don't think of anybody, Muslims from the Middle East. We think of you. So you could say South African, West African, North African, East African. We're going to think of you. Okay? So no need to say Black South African, Black African, Black Haitian. When you say Haitian, we think of Haitians, right? Dessalini. When you say Jamaican, we think of Maroons. So when you're talking to us, there's no need to throw the Black word there. Just say Jamaican, Haitian, Nigerian. We're gonna think of you, nobody else. We ain't gonna think of the Chinese Jamaicans. We're not gonna think of the Indo Jamaicans, right? We ain't gonna think of the French Haitians. When you say Haitian, we're gonna think of you first. So the marked term is for the outsiders seeking citizenship in your country. You don't need a marked term. You're the majority. Okay? So to keep saying Black South African, and Marquette's loving that because that's his agenda is to Blackanize Africans. So they want to Africanize Blacks, us, and they want to Blackanize Africans. The Destiny Swap.
I can't remember the wording, so I don't want to misquote you. But I think you use the word despicable Blacks all across the world.
Yeah.
There is no such thing as Blacks across the world. But we'll touch on it.
I don't know what metric you're using to,
Hold on, we got somebody inviting themselves up. Hopefully, folks are respectful. Hey, man, how you doing? Uh-oh. Wait, hold on. What country you from?
You know the best lamb's kebab.
Okay. Hey, yo, that dog barking, man. You about to have barbecue dog. You dig?
I don't know what metric you're using to determine that. Maybe you can shed some light on that, but
I'd be happy to.
I would firmly reject that to maybe one or two things. One, actual South Africans, don't have a xenophobic.
Wait, hold on. What happened?
Maybe one or two things. One, actual South Africans.
So now they actual. So they're Black South Africans, and now he stopped cosplaying, and now they're just actual South Africans. So let's use that term. Let's use the delineating term, actual South Africans. If you need to use that term to separate you from the white people there. By the way, the white people there already have a delineated term. Their term is Afrikaners or Afrikaans. So the white people in South Africa, they already have a delineating term. South Afrikaners, or Afrikaans. They already got it. But now he don't want to say Black South Africans. Now he says actual South Africans. So let's go with that. Let's go with actual South Africans. Please let us have our name, man. I'm not even playing Tariq. Tariq not even playing. This is Marquette Devon Burton. This ain't Tariq. Sadiq.
Hey, greetings to the chat.
Hey, peace, family.
I'm calling from New York City.
Okay.
Okay, I know you know history.
Yeah.
And Kemet and Egypt, these were alternate names for land of the black.
Right.
The black man's land. So when you say that there's no such thing as blacks around the world, I don't understand that statement.
All right, so let me clarify that. So sometimes, brother, I'll say a controversial statement to bring in conversation. Then I'll clarify a little more, right? So nobody from Kemet was speaking English. Nobody from the Sudan was speaking English. Nobody from Haiti was speaking English. So the English five-letter words BLACK did not exist. So literally nobody was calling themselves black. Like that's a literal exclamation statement, right? They were speaking their language. Now watch this. When you say the land of the blacks, that is an exonym because people of the land don't call themselves that. They have a name for themselves. Somebody let's go what you're saying is true. Let's go with Kemet means the land of the black people there, right? So that means that's an exonym, exos onym. That means an outsider named them that. They looked at them and said, hey, these are dark people, so these are the dark people of the land. That's not the name they call themselves. So when I say people are not black, I'm saying they didn't call themselves black as their primary endonym, endos onym, as their primary name. So you have, look, so Igbo, that's a tribe. They called themselves Igbo. Nobody called them that. You figure, okay, go ahead.
You will be going into semantics.
No. That's that. Hey, bro, listen. I made the claim, so you're refuting my claim. So that's my claim. My claim is, wait, hold on. Wait, I want you to understand it. The claim is this. Everybody named themselves something. Every human being named themselves something. Every group of human beings named themselves something. And all the names are recorded. Nobody named themselves BLACK as their primary global name except for Black Americans. Go ahead, bro.
Okay. What I'm saying, when I say semantics, different languages have different words for the same object, structure, or being they're referring to. So if you want to say black in Spanish or French or English or Swahili, they're using different words, of course, but they're referring to the same object. So if you want to say God in any different language, yeah, but they're referring to God. So I'm saying to say that black is qualification for species of the human being that are black worldwide. Now, if you're talking about BLACK, that's a semantic thing. So even in the Haitian Constitution, I think they referred after the revolution to all people on the land as the Noir, which means black in French.
Now, hey, brother, now watch this. Who named them Noir? Hold on, listen. I'm gonna give you two options. Who named them Noir? See, like you said, I do know history, and I do study, linguistics. I know about Noir. Who named the Haitians Noir? Was it the Haitians themselves, or was it the French?
That's what I'm saying. After the revolution.
No. Listen. What I'm saying is, wait, no. Okay, wait. Can you say after the revolution? So I got to add this there. Did the term Noir for Haitians apply before the revolution?
Yes.
Okay, so don't say after the revolution. I'm speaking about the term Noir. Wait, no, but I get what you're saying. But I have a question, and I'm not denying that. I have a question for you though. I said, who called them Noir? Did they call themselves Noir, or did the French call them Noir?
Okay. They adopted the language of the colonizer.
Hey, brother, I'm asking you a question.
Okay, in the Constitution, they refer to themselves using the colonizer's new language.
No, wait, no. Hey, bro, I'm not asking about new language. I'm saying, like, for example, Native Black Americans, we were called the hard ER. We didn't call ourselves that. The white man called us that. So I'm asking you, Noir, was that something the Haitians called themselves, or was that a term placed on them by the French?
So explain it. They called themselves, okay. When they took over the island.
Hey, bro, you're talking about post-revolution. I'm talking about pre-revolution. The term Noir that was placed on them. Did they call themselves Noir, or did the French people call them Noir?
Yeah, they use the language.
Okay, all right. So look, all right. So let me answer it for you. Have you ever heard of the Noir codes?
Black codes.
No. I didn't say black codes. I said Noir. They didn't speak English, remember? I said Noir. You ever heard of that? When they had the Noir codes for Haitians. Are you familiar with that language? Okay. So the Noir codes were similar to the black codes in America. So Noir was their version of the hard ER. So let me answer the question for you. They didn't call themselves Noir. They adopted Noir after whitey people called them Noir. And when whitey people called them Noir meant a derogatory slur. Wait, hey, bro, you gotta listen. I'm hearing you, and I'm responding to you, and you didn't answer none of my questions, and you're just talking over me. So we're saying the same word. So we both admit Noir existed in Haiti. Wait, okay. Hey, bro, listen, man. Either we're gonna talk or we're not gonna talk. I'm talking to you. Okay. So Noir, when it was introduced to the Haitians by the French, so now we know that's a fact. Anybody can Google that right now. You can Google it. You got permit. You got permission to Google. I'm not Marquette. I don't care how you get your information. You can Google ChatGPT. So Noir was a term given to the Haitians by the Frenchmen, and Noir was used in a negative connotation. It was not a compliment. Noir was their version of the hard ER. Noir meant melanated people, dark-skinned melanated people who were savage-like, who were monkey-like, who deserved slavery. That was the definition of Noir given to them by the French. So Noir, even though it means black as a color in their language, when they apply it to humans, my guy, words take on another meaning. That's called connotations. They can be positive or negative. So you don't always take the literal definition when you apply the words to human. You got to now consider the context that the word is being used. So when the French people said noir, when the Portuguese said negros across the world, that was not complimentary words. They were derogatory, they were defamatory, and they were there to dehumanize people across the world. So noir was something placed on them. That's called an exonym. That's an outsider naming you. You ain't name yourself. Okay, so can you speak to what I just said, or we got to end the call?
Say it again. They took the land and they killed the white. Excuse me, the land. They unalived the whites. They wrote a constitution.
Hey, bro. All right. Hey, bro. I'm good. I'm good. Okay, so he ignored everything I said. He keep talking post. He keep talking post. I'm talking pre, and yeah, we can't do that. We can't do that. Yes, sir. Kwame. Oh yeah, I want. Okay, I got it. I'm so glad you called, my guy. So you called in Tariq Nasheed the other day, right? And yo,
Yeah.
and you talked about, you said your words was black immigrant, right? And you said you compare black immigrants to blacks in America as far as home ownership, college graduates, graduates. You compare finances, all those things, correct? Okay, got it. But what you did was you showed that you're remedial and you're reading information without context. Now, the black immigrants, right? That you said black immigrants. Okay, I'm about to get there. You said black immigrants. Who make up the black immigrants according to your study? Who are the black immigrants in mind?
The people from Africa and the Caribbean.
Oh, so it's a bunch of people together, lumped up, right? So now the blacks that I got you. So right. So is that a fair comparison? 5 million to 50 million?
Yeah, I mean.
Okay. Hey, wait. Hey, bro. I already did it for you. All right. You know I was waiting for you. I'm gonna cook in a second. But secondly, so you compare the black immigrant group that's mixed. So now the black immigrant group, aren't those people humanitarian immigrants and also hyper-selected immigrants?
Some are refugees. Some are work visas.
Okay. Hey, bro. I use the term hyper-selected. That's a real term. Was some of those immigrants in that group okay? Explain what hyper-selected immigrants are.
Selected for their expertise and things like that.
Okay, let me help you out. They make up the top 1% of the country, right?
Possibly.
Okay, you don't even know. All right, so hey, bro, I'm gonna get there. Hey, bro, I'm gonna get there. Well, first of all, hey, bro. Okay, so family, he's chimping out. He's chimping out. I'm cooking him. Now, hold on. So now okay.
You trying to steer the conversation?
No. Hey, bro, I'm guiding you how to argue this correctly. So when you said the black immigrants, these are people you said from Africa and the West Indies, right? So these people are grouped up based on origin, right, and ancestry.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like you, African.
Okay. Wait. So you're comparing them to who? So these black immigrants versus who?
I guess found it.
No. What? No. What did your research? Hey, bro. What did your research paper say? You said that at the org. Who did they compare them to? Because Foundation of Black Americans is not on that website. So who are they?
It don't exist.
Okay, so who were they comparing them to then?
African Americans.
No. Okay, so now watch this. African American, is that a race or ethnic group in America? In as far as the government?
It's an ethnic group.
Okay, no, okay, all right, get out. Revenue, remedial revenue, Quasimodo. Get them out of here. African American is a race here. That's why on the application it said, I just showed you my form. It says black or African American as a race. Okay, go to my form. I got a thumbnail on YouTube yesterday, BLAX News and Facts. Go look at the thumbnail. And we know y'all fill out forms. In America, the race is black or African American. So he's getting cooked. I'm so glad this fool called in. He's getting cooked. Black family and African American, these are racial classification in America. These are not FBA stats. These are not Native Black American stats. Immigrants are included in that too. So that's why I say, bro, you're comparing the black immigrant group to who? He said FBAs. That's not what that says. First of all, there's no comparison. Nobody compares a race to a specific origin of people. That's his argument. That's a bad faith argument. You don't have no economists. You don't have no anthropology. You have nobody expertise in any serious field comparing a selected group to a broad group that includes everybody under the sun. So the black race family, the black or African American race, that broad classification, it includes all the refugees from Jamaica, all the refugees from Sudan, Ethiopia, Eritrea, Somali, all these poor refugees. It can also anybody of Latino descent who say they're Afro-Latino and they click black, they're also including that. So they come from their poor countries over here working, whatever, at McDonald's and not graduating, whatever. They're in that black stat too, that black African American stat. They're there too. All of the Africans who are not hyper-selected, who are refugees over here, poor, they're in the black racial group. So this guy wants us to take the burden. He wants black Americans to be the face of the black racial group that includes the poor from all of the world, while the black immigrant group has a lot of the top 1% of these same failed homelands. Only a remedial guy like Revenue, Kwame, will make such of a bad comparison. So this is a great morning. I'm so glad he called in and got cooked. All right, so dude, he was chimping out. He knew where I was going because he called in before. Okay, many times. I cooked him more than anybody. I got so many videos of this guy. Nobody cooked Kwame more than me, by the way. Matter of fact, all y'all combined, all the platforms combined has not debated Kwame more than me. His name is Kwame, right? So he came to my channel first and then he branched out because he couldn't win over here. Then he tried his luck on other channels. But nobody debated this guy more than me. I got over it got to be like 100 debates with this guy. Got like 100 and plus debates with this guy. All right. Cooking them. So the immigrants that he's considering in the black immigrant group, a lot of these people are hyper selected. That means America picked them out because they make up the top 1%. So he mentioned Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan is our top 1%, the Jay-Z's. So now let's do top 1% versus top 1%, and let's do the whole versus the whole. That's how you compare apples to apples, orange to oranges. But you don't take a top 1% of Michael Jordan and compare that person to Dudu Tande in a shantytown. That is apples to oranges. That's what he's doing with the hyper-selected of Africa to the average Joe Smo black American here. That's a white supremacist argument. That's what Jared Taylor would do. That's what Richard Spencer would do. That's what Nick Fuentes would do. Okay, but they try to say that y'all make those arguments. We don't compare Jay-Z to the guy who's eating bushmeat and letting a donkey pee all over his head. We're not comparing Jay-Z to that person. All right, that's a bad faith argument. We don't give bad faith arguments. Native Black Americans, we don't give bad faith arguments. We actually talk about what we really did. We talk about patents. We talk about innovations. We talk about inventions. We talk about stuff we really did. We talk about all the discoveries, all our efforts in science, all the wars we were, WAR, TikTok Shop, I love you, all the battles that we took part in to help this country become great, and the infrastructure that we built. We talk about things we really did. and we compare what we really did to what you really did. We don't get bad faith arguments. Okay? So TikTok keeps saying Tariq Nasheed. It ain't about Tariq Nasheed, it's about me. Okay, I'm a top G when it comes to debating. Okay, that's how you handle revenue. You don't Kwame. You don't let that guy start lying. You get him right away. And you start off by asking him questions. You can see how DUMB he is. He's reading articles in bad faith. He don't know what a hyperselective. This guy don't know nothing. And that's why he chimped out and kept cutting in. Now, when does Kwame does that? When he think he got a point, when does he keep cutting in? And this is for anybody. The last guy, Sadiq, same way. He can't understand what I'm saying about Noor. Like, he just keep talking. I said, bro, Noor, was that something Haitians put on themselves? Or that's something the Frenchmen put on them? Nah, see, post-revolution. Okay, bro, get off. Like, yo, a lot of y'all too remedial to understand what I'm saying. I know what you're saying, and I'm responding to what you're saying, and I'm raising you. All right? So, yeah, anybody else? You dig?
Don't have a xenophobic.
What do you mean by actual
Don't
South What does that mean?
Uh,
All right. So I wanted just to play Marquette Devon Burton, how he keeps allowing Africans to call themselves black and how he keeps calling them black too. Okay. And for me, I already know Marquette Devon Burton is a Pan-African who trying to backdoor South Africans into our lineage by keep calling them black over and over and over and over. So now let me show you how this stuff works. So Kwame, remedial guy, write this down, my guy, because you always come over here and learn how to you learn stuff, and then you go apply it to Tariq or whoever else you go to, whatever FBA channel. So family, date this, mark this date down. This is the first time he's gonna hear this, and he's gonna use this when he joins Tariq next time. He always come here to get cooked, and then when I tell him, he'll go remix it somewhere else. So write this down, my guy. So listen, in linguistics, family, because Marquette, Devon Burton, and a lot of South African tethers keep calling themselves black South Africans. And then the South African use the term actual South African. So they can't make their mind up how they want to identify. Are you a black South African or are you an actual South African? One more time.
What do you mean by?
maybe one, I don't know. I don't know what metric you're using to determine that. Maybe you can shed some light on that, but
I'd be happy to.
I would firmly reject that to maybe one or two things. One, South Africans, actual South Africans.
You heard him? He said South Africans, actual South Africans. So look, he forgot to add the black there. So he said actual South Africans. So who are the non-actual South Africans? And why not stick with that term? Why not just call yourself actual South Africans? Why you got to be the black South Africans? That's my question back to these guys. And that's my question to Marquette Devon Burton. Why they got to be black South Africans? Why these can't be what he said they are, which is actual South Africans, right? But I got a better linear word for them that they can use. They can stop using black. Okay? So invite yourself up, man. I'm like Barry Bonds out here. Hey, activate it. What's up? Okay, you need me to hop on? Oh, yeah. All right. Okay, now listen. Here's a rule of thumb. Because black has been hijacked, like our government hijacked black and gave it to everybody but us. So here's the thing. They want to Africanize us while they blackanize themselves. So everybody became black besides us since Donald Trump's inauguration in 2024. Nobody's no longer Haitian, Jamaican, Nigerian. Everybody's just black now, except for us. We're the guys who are African, right? But all of them guys are black. Like that's where it's at right now. So when you say you're black, you got to always add a marked term because black almost mean immigrant today. So when you say you're black, you can't say black American because that's pretty much an immigrant as well. You're either freedmen, Solon, Adolfs, FBA or a native Black American. You dig? Yeah, you got to use lineage-based terms. All right, man, I appreciate you, but let me cook a little more. All right. Yes, sir. Thank you. I appreciate you. All right. So in linguistics, family, there's something called the unmarked term and the marked term. Okay. So for example, if I say I went to the doctor, right, to get a checkup. Now you can leave it like that, but the doctor doesn't tell me if it was a woman or a man, right? So if I wanted to express it was a woman doctor as opposed from a man doctor, I will use a marked term, which is woman. So woman will be the marked term to explain what type of doctor gave me the checkup. Okay, so remedial revenue, write this down. Unmarked term and marked term. If I went and got coffee, I did get coffee. What does that mean? Was it decaf or caffeinated? So coffee, family, would be the unmarked term. Doctor is the unmarked term. But if I want to specify what type of doctor, male or female, if I wanted to specify what type of coffee, caffeinated or decaffeinated, I would say decaf or caffeinated coffee. But when you say coffee, it's automatically assumed it's caffeinated. So you don't got to say, I drunk caffeinated coffee. So coffee will be the unmarked term. By default, we automatically assume it's caffeinated. If you want to express that it's not caffeinated, it's decaf, then you have to add the marked term, which would be decaf. When you go to the store and buy coffee, especially like a self-serve place, family, the regular coffee would never say caffeine or caffeinated. That's automatically assumed. You will see decaf. So decaf would be the outside unfamiliar term, right? Because already assumed coffee is caffeinated. So if you want to express or they want to let you know this is decaf, it's going to say decaf. It's going to say decaf to let you know this is the marked term to explain what type of coffee you're getting. Because without decaf, the average person is going to automatically assume all this coffee is caffeinated. When we came up with Black as a positive connotation to put on human beings, melanated human beings, it was an unmarked term that deserved no modifier or a marked term. It was already understood globally and definitely nationally. When you said you were Black in the 1930s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, it was automatically assumed Black Americans from U.S. chattel slavery. Not until the influx of immigrants that come to this country in the 2000s, we had to now add a marked term to Black. Okay? Now everybody got to tell what type of Black they are. But before then, Black was automatically assumed Black Americans. So Black went from an unmarked term to a term that needed to be marked. And it was our government that started that volcano eruption. All right. So now, an ethnonyms are supposed to be unmarked. So Jamaican can be seen as a nationality and ethnonym, right? So when you say I'm Jamaican, or if I say somebody's Jamaican, it should be automatically assumed I'm talking about Shabba Ranks. You should not have Vivek in your mind, and you should not have Wong in your mind, okay? Because the majority of people in Jamaican are from African descent or whatever they want to be, right? Slave ships. So the marked term should not be for Jamaican. So a Jamaican don't need to say, hey, I'm a Black Jamaican. That's a marked term. A Jamaican don't got to say, hey, I'm an African Jamaican. That's a marked term because they are the majority and the country's named pretty much after and for them. When the Chinese got there, when the Indians got there, they became Jamaicans by nationality, but they need a marked term. And that's why they're called Indo-Jamaicans and Chinese Jamaicans. But Jamaicans don't need a marked term. Ethnonyms are supposed to be unmarked. Haitians, there's no confusion who you're talking about when you say somebody's Haitian. So when French people go there and get nationality, they get citizenship, they're Haitian too, but they need the marked term, not the Haitians. So when you're the overwhelming majority, you don't need a marked term. It's assumed Haitians are Haitians and Jamaicans are Jamaicans and Nigerians are Nigerians. The foreigners, the Johnny come lately, they need the marked terms. Okay? Not the people who homeland it is. All right? Ghana, same thing. Ghana, a Ghanaian, already carries the population it refers to. Okay? So if there's an Indian in Ghana that gets citizenship, he's an Indian or Indo-Ghanaian and so forth and so forth, right? So the people who come to get citizenship, who are not the indigenous or native Ghanaians, they are the ones who need the marked term, not the homeland indigenous native people. Are y'all following? Okay. South Africa is unique because South Africa is actually a plural, it's a plural society. So it doesn't apply to one population, but there's a majority rule that's there. There's a majority people there. Okay. And when you think of a South African, you automatically think of an African. You don't think of the 3% Afrikaners that are there, right? You think of, or 1% of the 1.1% of the Indians that's there. You think of Africans. So there's no need for me to add the marked term Black South African, because when you say South African, for most of the world, you think of an African. You don't think of a white man or an Indian. All right. So let me go further. A white Afrikaner born in South Africa, she's also South African by nationality, right? So when I say marked term, unmarked term, and marked term, in linguistics, the unmarked term is the basic default form, while the marked term as a qualifier. So when you say Haitian, that is the unmarked term. It's the basic default form. Haitian is a Haitian. These are the people who revolted against the French. Okay? So if an Indian want to come to Haiti and get citizenship and become a Haitian, they are not from the lineage who revolted against the French. So that Indian, that Chinese person, that Chinese Haitian, that Indian Haitian, they are required to add the marked term, because Indians and Chinese people are not the basic default form of a Haitian. Haitians don't need a marked term. It's automatically assumed. We're talking about the people who come from the lineage who revolted against the French. So any Indian Haitian, any Chinese Haitian, they got to add Indo-Indian Chinese. That's their marked term, to separate them from the native, the indigenous people there. Okay? So I hope we are learning. So when we hear the word Black Haitian, we like, yo, why are you using a marked term to describe yourself? Haitian is Haitian. And then we know who to think about. When you say I'm Haitian, we know who you're supposed to be. Now, it's not until somebody with chinky eyes say they're Haitian, we like, wait, what? Buttermilk complexion with chinky eyes. When they say they're Haitian, we like, wait, what? Like, what you mean you Haitian? When we see somebody musty as hell saying they're Haitian and they look like they come from another country other than Haiti, we like, wait, what? He looked like Vivek. We like, Haitian, weird. So now they got to explain how they're Haitian. Oh, yeah, nah, I'm Chinese descent, immigrated here from so-and-so. Oh, I'm Indian descent. So they got to add the qualifier, not the Haitian. So why are Haitians saying they're Black Haitians? They don't need the qualifier. It's already automatically consumed. I can't talk. It's automatically already assumed that Haitians are the Haitians. You don't need the qualifier. They do. So why are you saying you're Black Haitian, African Haitian? Now, notice they don't say African Haitian. They never did. So why are you finding the need to say Black Haitian now? Now, I could see if the Chinese came to Haiti and they're like almost 50% of the population and they're calling themselves Haitian. Yeah, you might need a delineated term then. But it ain't gonna be Black. You better come up with something else, African or Afro, something else. And that's why in Jamaica family, the Indians are called Indo-Jamaicans, Chinese Jamaicans, and they're nowhere near the population. But the Jamaicans there, they call themselves Afro-Jamaicans historically. They never call themselves Black Jamaicans. They became Afro-Jamaicans there. All right. So now there's a lot to go into Africa, right? Hold on. I mean, yeah, South Africa. There's a lot. There's a lot to unpack. All right, give me a second. There's a lot to unpack. But what I'm not going to do is let people lie and misrepresent anything. Okay. So I got revenue out of here really quickly, bro. I'm not them, my guy. It's me. I know about classifications. I know about the Black classification. My man talking about Black immigrants. No such thing as a Black immigrant. You can't be native and foreign, but okay, let's go with it. For the sake of debating, let's go with the term Black immigrant. Okay, so you're not going to say there's a Black immigrant. It's a bunch of Jamaicans and hyper-selected Africans. So basically, he's trying to give the credit to Jamaicans for how hyper-selected Africans come over here. So not Jamaicans, by the way, not Jamaicans. Hyper-selected Africans come over here very smart and with some wealth, not Jamaicans. But because they're both immigrants in the Black race, Jamaicans get to hatch on to the Nigerian or Kenyan or African success. You hear me? And their wealth. Because they're both classified as racial Black immigrants. So Jamaicans who come over here as refugees, needing all type of welfare and government assistance, they are lumped up with the Nigerian Africans who don't need government assistance, who's already highly educated and got some wealth to them. They make up the 1%. So revenue don't know that. He don't know that the Jamaicans are getting a free ride or trying to get a free ride off the African success that come over here that make up 1% of their country. Right? So again, revenue, that works on other podcasts. Okay. Hold on. That works on other podcasts, but not with me. Not with a guy who loves history, my guy. All right. So anyway, still that article he read, that article does not make a comparison with a small, tiny, he just said it, 5 million immigrants, right? He just said 5 million immigrants, and it wasn't, I don't believe, let's go with it. There's no such fair comparison between 5 million to 50 million. This is where people work in the per capita. Because already the 50 million to 5 million, that's a big difference in numbers. So there's no serious comparison with that type of number, disproportionate number. Nobody takes that seriously. You would do the per capita to kind of weed out things. All right. But I asked revenue, Black immigrants versus who? He said foundational Black Americans. I said, oh, no, sir. That article, that research you read, that don't say Black immigrants versus foundational Black Americans. Oh, I know because it's made up. Whatever, bro. I ain't gonna chimp out. Let's stay focused. Nothing you say is gonna get me off you, my guy. But that website you did say Black immigrants versus Black Americans referring to us. And if they were not referring to Native Black Americans at all, because even when you try to say us ain't us. Us ain't us. And the black in this country is a race. So when you read a Black stat in this country, it's going to never only refer to Black Americans. It's going to have a bunch of revenues in there. You dig? So when you read a black stat and it says marriages are low, I can argue, yeah, because immigrants are coupled in there. If you read a black stat and you say, hey, the incarceration rates are too high, I'm gonna say, yeah, because immigrants are lumped in there. If you say black unemployment is low, I'm gonna say, yeah, because immigrants don't want to work. You dig? And guess what? You can't rebut that because the black racial stat is not designed to disaggregate. It's designed to aggregate. It's impossible to know what percentages of who is bringing down and bringing up, exalting and bringing down. It's impossible. That's why I just do that. Like, all right, well, whatever negative stat you want to read off in the black racial category, I'm gonna say it's immigrants. What do you say? Yeah, so there is no black immigrant stat versus native black Americans. He made that up. He misrepresented the website and what they were trying to do. He's a goofball. And that's why he chimped out and was talking over. Okay. And Sadiq, bro, you gotta learn how to like listen, my guy. The comprehension for you guys like low as hell. But and like that's no shade on Sadiq. I'm giving you tough love, bro. Like, no, not tough love, honest love. Like your comprehension ain't there, bro. Like, and I'm not a school clinical psychologist, but bro, I kind of believe that you were diagnosed when ADHD was just ADHD, because they had merged ADHD with ADD, and I felt like that. Now, if you have a problem with this stuff, I believe that was wrong. I think that was diabolical. Okay, to merge ADD with ADHD. These are two separate symptoms that speak to two different mental illnesses. I believe ADD is normal, not a bad thing. I believe ADHD is not normal, and that needs to be addressed because ADHD usually leads to violence. Okay, not ADD. So to combine them both, I felt like, okay, my tinfoil hat, it might appear out of nowhere. It did. I feel like it appeared out of nowhere on that one. But anyway, Sadiq, I believe you were diagnosed with ADHD. It's not a knock. Not a knock. But I'm saying, bro, I'm saying that to say this. Before you call in again, take your medicine. So you can sit down and listen to what I just told you. Okay, guy, that noir stuff doesn't work with me, who's a low key, I'm something like a phenomenon. That doesn't work with somebody who's something like a phenomenon. I know about more about noir than you, my guy. And most people who call in, I know more about what they talking about than them. Because these are cherry picking debaters. They cherry pick information. They don't look at the raw data and correctly discern what they're looking at. I don't do that. I don't look at data and pick out what favors FBAs and leave out what doesn't. I look at the whole. I look at the whole. You can't get nowhere lying to yourself and your people. You dig? But thank you, Kwame, for chimping out. I got you, my guy. And it's funny because I just played you and Tariq talk about the fake immigrant stats compared to us. I just talked about that. I said, yo, revenue, this is how I would handle him, as opposed to Tariq Nasheed. Look at that. I got him chimping out that fast. I said, yo, we got to stop assuming that these guys know what they're talking about. We got to make sure they know what they're talking about. Ask them. What you say? What is that? What that mean? What that mean? You said this word. What that mean? What that word means to you? Don't be afraid to ask these guys, man. I don't believe you know what you're saying. So now, revenue, Kwame, if you're still there, which you are, which he's not going to do. Invite yourself back up and let's talk about now. Now he's back there trying to research. Now, I don't mind. I'm not Marquette Devon Burton. I don't get insecure because people use the internet like you're supposed to. It's there to the internet is there to be used. You dig? So I want you to clean up your debate, your argument, and come back. But we're gonna establish facts first. We're gonna establish who was that black immigrant group. That's your words. To me, they're just an African immigrant, Afro immigrant group. They ain't black. And then we're gonna talk about who were they, who was the other group? Was is the other group Foundation Black Americans? Like you said, if so, I need that article. I need that thing to read where it's speaking to the Native Black Americans exclusively compared to immigrants, Afro immigrants. I need that. I know it does not say that. You're in my world, my guy. When you read stats like that, you're in my world. I know that's not what they do. Because I know you got it from either or some type of government stat, and they don't do that. The government stats don't compare and contrast Black Americans to Afro immigrant people. They don't do that. That's what white supremacists do. They go into government stats and they cherry pick and they try to compare stats that's under Black to stats that's under white. So people like Revenue, Kwame Remedial Revenue, what they do is they go to white people websites and channels like Nick Fuentes, and they borrow those arguments and they bring them to FBA spaces. Because and some of us it catch off guard because we're not normally debating a white Republican conservative. We're usually debating a Pan-African, something like that, or a tether. So when they come in white Republican conservative talking points, it kind of catch some of us off because a lot of it be fake stats and misapply information like what Revenue try to do. Okay. But yeah, that don't work. That don't work over here, my guy. Keep going back to Tariq and whoever else, and that might work over there, but that don't work over here, my guy. I know my stats. I know about the different immigrants. I know about the refugee, humanitarian immigrants. I know about hyper-selected. And I know that the Black stat is a racial classification that includes you too. So Revenue does that a lot, and a lot of these tethers do that a lot. They'll mention the Black stat and how negative it is, but then act like it don't include somehow that stat, that racial Black stat. Like, no, sir, not over here, my guy. Not over here. So when you get a chance, Revenue, when you get it now, I know you to be a coward like that. Because normally you would try to like dance me a little longer. Normally you would let me go in. You don't chimp out as much. But yeah, man, I want you back on so I could finish what I was doing with you. And what happens is, family, he went back and like Google what I was saying because he's a guy that will Google and get a rebuttal and call back in. The fact that he ain't calling back in is because he tried to Google something to counter what I said and nothing came up. So believe me, if something came up, he'll call back in because he knows I'll let him talk. He's like, yo, what's your argument? Go. But the fact he ain't called back in after Googling, he knows that he misused those stats. And that's why on YouTube, I will make Remedial Revenue, Kwame, share his screen. I say, hey, let's read what you're reading. Because I guarantee you does not say that. And it never says what he says. It never, what he cites, what he references, it never actually says what he says it says. Never. That's why I call him remedial. Like, dude, you are really remedial. Like, you don't comprehend what you read. Right. He's not one of the hyper-selected immigrants from Nigeria or Kenya. This guy, he's a refugee. He didn't come over here educated, work decent on that stuff. He came over H-1B. He came over here as a fleer who's on temporary status. You dig? Yeah, but I'm telling you, none of those weak arguments y'all be using on these FBA platforms, none of them are gonna work over here. I'm really well studied. I'm really on the wing. I'm really just witty, and I don't need no preparation. Wherever y'all want to go, I'm there. And normally I don't have my laptop with me. I'm normally just driving. Okay. But so I'm dangerous without a laptop. So just imagine when I have the laptop on the side of me. It's over. Because then I can fact check you on the fly. I can fact check you in real time. When I'm just driving debating y'all like right now, I can't fact check y'all on the fly. It's either I know what I know or I don't. You dig? So if I don't know what I know, then I can't say BS. But I'm gonna cook on South Africa. I want to get to this park first. I'll tell you, every Sunday morning when it's nice outside, I'm at the park balling. So I want to get back to the unmarked term and the marked term. This is great information you guys should write down. These are phrases and terms you never heard before. Okay, like I do, not Marquette, Burton, and nobody else. I usually bring information to the community that you never heard before. That's normally what I do. So marked term and unmarked term. Let's get back to that. Okay? Yeah, Mandia. Let's get back to the marked term, unmarked term. Because I want to get to this South African thing. Why are so many South Africans calling themselves black? Hmm? Now, what did South Africans call themselves before they called themselves black? Because black became the standard modern label after a while. Family, did y'all know that South Africa's government, they used to generally classify the South Africans as native, Bantu, African, and non-European. The word black was never there, like I said. So when I say the only black people are black Americans, that's a fact. Okay? These guys, and by the way, they're being called things. They're not calling themselves these things. So I just said the South Africa government called these people native, Bantu, African, non-European. The question is, what did they call themselves? Because the European government didn't call them black, and they didn't call themselves black. So during the colonial and early Union period, the South African government most commonly used the word native as the legal classification for indigenous Africans. They called them native South Africans. So why not call yourself native South Africans? What's so wrong with the word native? Why not call yourself indigenous South Africans? Why? That fits perfectly. Native, indigenous. Why call yourself black? There's no black ties to y'all. Black is American. That's our thing. But their government called them native, indigenous, Bantu, African, and non-European. Black was not a choice. These guys are recently black. All right. And look, these guys were directly inspired by us to call themselves black. We'll talk about it. So now, family, there's something called the Natives Land Act of 1913 in South Africa. The native land, they got the word native to define them in the act. The Natives Land Act of 1913. How about the Native Administration Act of 1927? South Africa. How about the Department of Native Affairs? How about native reserves? How about native labor? How about native pass laws? Okay, so native was not simply a neutral acknowledgement of indigeneity, right? It was a state category used to regulate land movement, residence, labor, and political status. How about the Population Registration Act of 1950? So the foundational apartheid statute initially divided people into three principal classifications since 1950, family. What were they? White, native, and colored. White, native, and colored since 1950, family. South Africa, three classifications, none of them were black. This is 1950. We were already saying we were black in 1930 as an endonym, as an ethnic identifier. So we called ourselves black in 1930 as an ethnic identifier with a whole new meaning to the word black applied to human beings. These guys are being called things by their oppressors, their colonizers. They're being called white. Well, there's three classifications: white, native, and colored. So now watch this. Under the law in South Africa, a native was essentially someone regarded as belonging to an indigenous African race or tribe. We didn't read black yet. Watch this. Indians, Chinese people, Cape Malays, and other groups were handled through the broad colored category and later through more detailed administrative subdivisions. So the foreigners were grouped up as colored. But the South Africans, the actual South Africans, as you can see, they were referred to as native and indigenous. So the apartheid government originally called indigenous Africans natives, not blacks. So during the 1950s and 1960s, watch this, apartheid officials increasingly replaced native with Bantu. So they went from native to Bantu. And you had the Bantu Authorities Act. You had the Bantu Education Act. You had Department of Bantu Administration and Development, Bantu Homelands, Bantu Labor, Bantu Affairs. So Bantu was borrowed from African linguistics, but the apartheid state converted into a racial administrative classification. Racist people going to have racial classifications. So its political purpose was important. The government wanted indigenous Africans portrayed not as equal citizens of one South African nation, but as members of separate tribal nations supposedly belonging in designated homelands. So these folks were being named. They're being exonized. I made that word up. But they are exonyming them. They are labeling them. So Zulu people belong to a Zulu homeland, right? This is how the South African government argued. The Zulu people belong to a Zulu homeland. The Hausa people belong to a Hausa homeland. Tswana people to a Tswana homeland, and therefore they need not possess equal political rights in so-called white South Africa. So these folks were known as natives first and then Bantu. So where did black come from? How did black sneak into the linguistics or the lexicon in Africa to define these people? Where did black come from? Well, I'm going to tell you. So a Bantu guy named Stephen Biko, he introduced black to the native Bantu people in South Africa. Okay. And in South Africa, he's called the father of black consciousness. All right. Whatever. But family, when he used black in South Africa, Do you know Steve Biko, the South African, the Bantu native South African? Do you know he also included Indians into black? So Indians in South Africa, Steve Biko said the Indians were black too. This is why when they come to America, they say they black, the Indians of South Africa. Because the dude, Steve Biko, he took our name. He was inspired by us. I'll get to that in a second. But he decided to extend this wordplay to South Africans. I mean, I'm sorry, to Indians, Indian South Africans. Okay. So I don't know how he got permission to do that, but this is why we got to gatekeep and repo black because people take it, they borrow it, and then they misapply it, they let other people have it. Then they give it to other people. So just to recap, before black became the common racial marker, not an ethnicity, not a nationality, before black became the common racial marker, South Africa classified indigenous Africans as natives and later Bantu. So when they talk about I'm a black South African in my space, I'm gonna correct them and say, no, you're a Bantu South African, right? You're a native South African, right? You're an indigenous South African, right? You're not black. Black is us. Okay? Black is us. I don't play those games, man. I don't extend our ethnicity to people. We just respect their ethnicity. All right. We use black in all of our society, right? This is when you know who's black and who's not. We don't just run around saying we're black all of a sudden. We use black in all of our society. Everything we put hands and feet on, we call it, we make sure it's black is attached to it. Our power, we'll say is black power. Our beauty, we'll say black is beautiful, Dr. King. When we study abroad, we'll say black studies. We got black arts movement, the Black Panther Party. We got black businesses, the black economy, the black dollar. We got black churches. We got black politics. So we include black into all of our daily affairs. Black love, you dig? Black thought, because we are the black people. South Africans don't do that. Haitians don't do that. And Jamaicans don't do that. That's something we do. We attach black to everything we do. All right. We even said black God, right? Yeah, Elijah Muhammad said the black man is God. Black God. All right. That's what we do. So we clearly are the first people to use black to broadly transform the English word black. The dude Sadiq said, "Well, if you're saying black English word, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not talking about no damn translation or transliteration, my guy. Sudan is black in Sudanese, right? It's a color, but they don't say they're black. They say they're Sudanese, right? And we don't say we're Sudanese. We say we're black. Juan is Juan in Mexico. Juan is Juan in Africa. Juan is Juan in Australia. Juan name don't change because they speak a different language. They're gonna speak their clicks and pops, and when they address Juan, they're gonna say Juan. They're gonna, and when they see Juan, Juan, and they're gonna keep clicking, and they're gonna say Juan, Juan, Juan. So they don't have a click and pop name for Juan. Juan is Juan. When Juan comes to America, he's not John. He's still Juan. Mary is Mary. Maria is Maria. She's not Mary all of a sudden. Miguel is Miguel here or abroad. He's not Miguel Cotto, right? He ain't become Michael Cotto, the boxer. So semantics is something he was playing, my God. We use the word that was being used and we leave it there. We got black colleges, we got black newspaper, we got black elected officials, and we got black history. Jamaican newspapers are called Jamaican newspapers. They're not called black newspapers. The history is called Jamaican history. They don't call their history black history. In Nigeria, if they got any history there, they don't call it black history. They call it whatever name they associate with. Whatever they did, Ghanaian history is Ghanaian history. It ain't black history. Their flags are their flags. We got the flag that's black. We got the Black American Heritage flag from by our boy Melvin. We have FBA flag by Tariq, and we have the Juneteenth flag that's for the freedom of Black Americans. So all of our flags literally speak to Black people, Black Americans. We don't have a Haitian flag, Jamaican flag, Nigerian flag, Ghanaian flag. We got Black flags. Okay. And we use Black as our primary self-designation. We don't have a nickname. We don't have another name. Like these guys are South African, they're Zulu, they're Black, they're Mel. They got all these names. Like, goddamn, man. Why all the names? We're just Black. Melvin Charles, 1967. Him and Gleason T. Jackson. Black American Heritage flag. And he came up with that flag because he said Black Americans are the only melanated people without a flag. He acknowledged the Nigerian flag and this flag and that flag, Jamaican flag, Trinidadian flag. He was like, yo, Black Americans are only melanated people without a flag. So here you go, the Black American Heritage flag. Our name is in the flag. Black Brits. Oh man, you're lucky. I ain't got time for the Black Brits. Y'all lucky, man. But I'm next live. I'm gonna get the Black Brits. Y'all next. Right now, I'm clicking on South Africans. Like, when did y'all become Black? You were Native, Bantu, all type of stuff, and now all of a sudden you Black. And they try to gaslight us and say, "Hey, we changed our name." Yo, y'all always something different. Are you serious? No, we changed our name one time. It went from Black to the foundational Black American or ADOS. These guys are Bantu, this and that, indigenous and native, but they'll tell us we changed our name. Like, dude, you stop. Um, so remedial revenue, Black is a broad racial classification that includes you. So if there's a Black stat, my guy, that Black stat is not exclusive and that Black stat does not exclusively speak to Native Black Americans, my guy. You immigrants who flee your countries, you're in that Black stat. The welfare you guys get, you're in that Black stat. You're in that Black stat, my guy. So that is not going to work. Okay. So the dude Stephen Biko, who introduced Black in South Africa, he was inspired by obviously the Black empowerment movement here. I keep trying to tell you guys, nobody was calling themselves Black as a primary identifier before Black Americans. All of you guys who say you're Black now, you were inspired by us and you took our word and misapplied it. You misapplied it. Black was not something it was like something you could license. Like we were not licensing out Black. Black was exclusive to just us. You guys took it and applied it to different things for your own personal agenda. And then Stephen Biko included the Indian South Africans as Black. It's a fact. Look it up. So Stephen Biko went around saying Black is beautiful in South Africa. He did what Kwame Nkrumah didn't do. You dig? So he went and started saying black is beautiful. Of course, he got that from Dr. King. Okay. Biko learned about Elridge Cleaver, George Jackson, right? He read about Black liberation theology, James H. Cone. He was directly inspired and influenced by Black Americans, and he went around South Africa calling everybody black. And that's how black became a thing in South Africa, family. That is how South Africa, that's how black South Africa became a thing. This guy was inspired by us, and he went around calling everybody black in South Africa, but for a different reason. He didn't use it like us. He did not use black like us. There's no way in hell we would call it Indian black. Yeah, we would not call a South Indian black. You dig? And you know, we try to extend black to be some kumbaya thing to Africans and Caribbean folks, but it wasn't like to replace ethnicity. It was like a solidarity thing. But they said they're not black. You dig? So that was, you're like, all right, you ain't black. But now, you know, 30, 40, 20 years later, everybody's black. And we're like, hold on. That don't make no sense. A lot of us start to like scratch our heads and say, wait, how are you black again? Oh my God. I know I didn't leave. Yes, I did. Yeah, I got some bad timing. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know when to bring stuff and leave stuff. Okay, I got this though. My book bag, I don't like, default. I gotta bring my book bag wherever I go. I keep stuff in my book bag, but then I'll be like, I don't need it because I'm going over here, but not knowing that the book bag is a lot of stuff in there. Hold on one second. Hold on one second. Anybody from TikTok that want to invite yourself up, this might be the time because I'm at the close out TikTok because I'm waiting for the guy to show up to play basketball, but I got my headset on. My headset only works for YouTube. It don't work for TikTok. So I can't hold the phone and shoot the basketball. So I can talk to my YouTubers with my headset, but I can't do that with the TikTokers. So TikTokers, this is the time to invite yourself up. Let's talk about how we're black. Now, the guy who tried to make the argument for the land of black and Kemet. Now, I argue with him. I gave him the benefit of the doubt. By the way, the land of blacks of Kemet was not talking about black, dark-skinned people. It's talking about the soil, because there's a word for the red soil. But just for the sake of argument, I went with it. I'm like, it still don't defeat what I'm saying. And that's why I said, like, dude, you're not listening to my argument. Because had you understood my argument, the land of the black don't even apply. Because the land of blacks, that's like, I think history records that people are calling them, like, let's say if that's true, which we know it's not. I know they were not talking about their color, their skin color. They were talking about the land. But let's go with they're talking about people's skin color. People in Africa didn't name themselves by their skin color. That's something that was colonizers. You dig? So that still won't make any sense. But you know, when people don't listen to arguments, they just say any old thing to argue. And I kept warning Buddy. I said, Buddy, listen to my argument, my guy. You're not listening. You're just talking. I said, you're not listening. You're just arguing. And you proved my point. I don't mind having dialogues, but listen, when you guys call in, like respect me enough to listen to what I'm saying. Because I can't, I said, God, you're not arguing what I'm arguing. I kept saying, yo, pre, I'm talking pre Haitian Revolution. You're talking about post. I said, bro, can we be on the same page? Can we both talk about pre Haitian Revolution? He agreed. And then he get cooked, he goes right back to post. Oh my God. Okay. Kept begging him, bro, can we talk pre? Can we talk noir in the context of pre Haitian Revolution? Okay. I go to talk. I'm like, yo, are you going to respond to that? He's like, yeah. But then he doesn't. He go back to post. See, the Constitution in Haiti, right? After they kicked the French out, I said, bro, we just agreed to talk about pre the noir term being used pre Haitian Revolution. You just agreed to that. And then your first words are your first words are after they kick the French out. Okay. So people can comment and type in the chat, and y'all know my rule. I don't debate nobody from the chat. But on TikTok, there's an invite feature. Yeah. I don't charge nobody. And I don't know. Well, yeah, I mean, other TikTok platforms they charge you, and I'm not saying I won't ever charge you. Maybe I get there too if I get big enough. But right now, it's free to join me, and you won't have a better debater. You won't have a better debate with somebody better than me. So you can debate me for free and get a better intellectual debate than the people you got to pay to debate, especially on FBA topics. You dig? So, land of the blacks, where timid, whether you want it to mean the black soil, the color of the soil, or the skin color. Both are exonymic terms. Okay. Well, not both, but the one that you're arguing describe somebody's skin, that is an exonymic term. If you're using land of blacks, Kemet, to mean somebody is described as skin color, then it becomes an exonym. That means outsiders came up with the term Kemet to name people. So you're still you still lose because we're still saying, or you have to say that it was outsiders who named you. I'm saying black ain't an outsider term for us in the context we use it. As far as black is beautiful, there's no outsider who called black Americans black and it meant black is beautiful. There's no outsiders who called us black and black meant empowerment and black meant greatness, something to be proud of. That is not how black was applied to us. When black was applied to melanated people, it was always under the connotation of skin color. And the skin color ain't just, oh, look, they're dark. It was always skin color. Ew, he's dark. Yeah, y'all don't get that? I know you get that. Okay? So when white people did describe your skin color and make note of it and make note that it was dark, it was in an ugly connotation. We took that and made it a positive connotation. Okay? We took that black and made it a positive connotation. So we named ourselves black in a positive connotation. Nobody looked at us and said, oh, you're black and beautiful. You're black and proud. You got black empowerment. We did that. So Kemet does not do that for people there. Kemet is, you guys say Kemet is describing your skin color. That means it was exonymic. Outsiders describe your skin color. Why would you be focused on your own skin color? Africans did not name themselves after their skin color. Igbo got nothing to do with how dark you are. Hausa, Fulani, Shona tribe, all that has nothing. Zulu tribe, that has nothing to do with how dark you are. So it's an L no matter which way you want to go with this, it's an L, both all the ways. Okay. I cannot believe I left my thing at home. I cannot believe that. I had my book bag, then I left the damn book bag. So now revenue can't deceive nobody. He left. Like, yo, you gonna try to? I couldn't believe he'll try to. Well, he didn't try. He didn't try to argue that same argument. He a little bit, but he ran. He knew that I don't work over here, my guy. I debate scholastically. I ain't gotta call you names, call you tether, call you musty. I can and I will sometimes, but a lot of times I want to debate the information. I don't care how musty you are. I don't care how of a tether you are. I want to debunk your information because your information musty and your information is tetherish as well. It took on your characteristics. Your information took on its own form. They're gonna read some immigrant stats and act like that got something to do with us. Like, yo, I know that website didn't say that got something to do with us. Oh, the immigrants, they outperformed. Yo, I guarantee, family, he read that immigrant stat. I can tell you where he got it from. I'm so researched and well read. He got that stat from a it was from a alt-right, one of those websites where they made that argument. Somebody like Jared Teller. And they usually pull out the FBI stats and these other stats, these government stats. They usually use them out of context. When I questioned revenue on some of the things, you couldn't answer. It's like, I know you don't know, because you're not a reader. You're remedial. I know you don't know it. I know you're remedial. You dig? I know you don't know, and I know you're remedial. I know you didn't read that correctly. He has a proven track record to misrepresent information, especially talking with me. I remember he told me, even when I first met Revenue, Kwame, over a year ago, he called in my space and that he said that Ibrahim Traore. Matter of fact, I learned about Burkina Faso and Ibrahim Traore from him. Like, that dude wasn't on my radar. He was not on my radar. I learned that from him. But he came to my channel telling me Ibrahim Traore was competing with Elon Musk. This is how I was introduced to Kwame Revenue over a year ago. Before Tariq, anybody knew anything about this guy, he was known as Kwame. No revenue. He told me Ibrahim Traore he was competing with Elon Musk in the electric car industry. Bro, I knew nothing about Ibrahim Traore. I knew nothing about Burkina Faso. I'm like, you a goddamn lie. I knew nothing. All I had to know was that this guy's African. I said, you are a lie. All I had to know was that this guy was African, and that was enough for me to know he's lying. Oh, you brought a ball this time. All right, I got my ball over there. Yeah. I had some sneakers, but I'm gonna get sneakers I wore. I got some backup sneakers. I'm like, let me get my real sneakers. Ah! All right. Uh, yeah. So my thing is, family. Listen, it's okay to disagree. It's okay to agree, whatever, but do it in good faith. Like, me and Q Butter agree to a certain extent, then we disagree. Me and Street Media TV, George Macon, we agree to a certain extent, and then we disagree. There's nothing wrong with that, and we could live with our disagreements. But it's when we are agreeing, disagreeing in bad faith with agendas, that's when it gets corny. That's when it gets corny. It's like, yo, listen, talk to me when you really believe what you're saying. Don't just want to be right. Don't read something cherry pick. Don't shit. Fucking phone, man. Don't read something cherry pick it, and then when it get crushed, you still standing on business. It's like, yo, learn how to drop a weak point and then evolve. The fuck? Sorry, TikTok shop. You know I love you. You know I love my TikTok shop. You dig? Like, I'm cool with Pan-Africans. I got my argument, they got theirs. I agree on some things, I disagree on other things, and vice versa. We don't got to agree on everything, but really believe what you say, though. You dig? Don't come in this with an agenda. Revenue got an agenda. That's why people think revenue's a Fed. He got an agenda. He's not standing on truth. He don't care about truth at all. People thinking this dude was bought by the Feds. Marquette Devon Burton, not stand on truth. Feelings. He got an agenda. He's a Pan-African. He won't say it. He'll say everything, but he's a Pan-African. He'll use all the Pan-African talking points. He'll tell you about these questionable businesses he got in South Africa, in Africa. He got all these employees in Africa. I'm like, dude, where's your employees in America? Where's your Foundation Black American employees in America? And you can have some Foundation Black American employees in Africa, but he never talks about that. He talks about employing Africans only. And African, his businesses in Africa. You dig? So I'm like, well, shit, where's the foundational talking points? Marquette Devon Burton, he'll say the word tether, he'll say he'll say the letters FBA, but I don't hear no FBA talking points. I don't hear reparations, I don't hear delineation. I just hear his businesses in South Africa and he's employing Africans. Like, dude, you're Pan-African. Just say it. You dig? Just own it and say it. Just own it and say it, man. Let's say it together. You are a Pan-African. It's okay, man. It's not the end of the road. There's some cool Pan-Africans that are of our lineage. You dig? There are some cool Pan-Africans that are of our lineage. Yeah. There are some cool Pan-Africans that are of our lineage, man. But all we're asking you to do is be like W. Du Bois. W. Bois was a Pan-African, but he chose the lineage business first. And when he got done with the lineage business, then that's when he did his Pan-African thing in Africa. Yeah, but if you're Pan-African, be more like W. Du Bois. Choose the lineage affairs first, and then go abroad and do your Pan-Africanism stuff. You dig? That's all we asking for. It's called the operations of order. All right. So anyway, family, let me get ready to get my ball in. Let me get ready to get my ball in. Yeah. I had to cook revenue. Then I had to let him go because he ain't I had to cook revenue, then I had to let him go because he ain't really call in the dialogue. And y'all know I got a low tolerance for remedial behavior. Yeah, but if y'all just learned about me today, then just know that I'm him. I'm one of those ones for real, for real. I didn't come out of nowhere. I can go to any one of my channels and go to my oldest video. Go to I had FBA Defensive Unit. I changed that to what was it I call it? Soul Glow. But go to Soul Glow and go to my oldest video, and you're gonna see I always talking about this. I ain't come out of nowhere. I didn't grift to FBA. Shit, I didn't grab my sneakers. I didn't grift to FBA talking points like these other FBA platforms. Go to the oldest video, you're gonna see them talking about gardening. And then out of nowhere, they're talking about lineage business. Like, damn, that's a grift. That's a grift. All of your YouTube life, you've been talking about gardening. Then out of nowhere, it's the lineage. That's a grift. There's no transition. There's no smooth transition. There's no real evolution. You go from gardening to the lineage. We're FBAs. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Some people seen our lineage, our talking points as a money grab. You dig? They see it as a money grab. And these are FBA people who see our lineage as a money grab. They come to these spaces for clicks and views. Their heart's not there. I tell you guys, activism ain't something you just do. You dig? Oh. I was supposed to get here to get some shots up, but I've been on the damn thing the whole time getting no shots up. So I'm about to be shooting air balls and everything else, all nets and air balls. I came here early. I came here before everybody. I didn't get off one shot. And there's two people at the park already getting up shots. And another person just pulled up just now. I got here before everybody get shots up. I got no shots up. And I'm a shooter. Like I need to get some shots up. Even like when I bowl, like I come to if we're gonna bowl, I go to bowl alley a little earlier to get some my bowls in. Like, I got to get my stuff in. Anyway, family, let me check out. Let me get my shots in. I'm a little behind schedule. I'm be shit like Westbrook if I don't get no shots in. So, family, love you guys. Tap in me later. I'm gonna get on. Next is up are the Black Brits. So I dealt with South Africans. I'll pick up more of them, cook them, I'll finish them. But I expose how they were natives and indigenous and everything else, Bantu, before they stole our black. So remember, you ain't never heard this before me. All right. Follow me, TikTok, FBA News Updates. I'm on YouTube as well. Blacks, BLAX. The X means something that's significant. Blacks, News and Facts on YouTube. Peace. And the TikTok family, YouTube, I love y'all. We'll talk later before. I'll definitely be live again. But y'all know I'm live in the morning. 5 a.m. tomorrow. Peace.